Communication.
K7UIR, this is K6TPL, Vancouver, USA. Yeah, David, I saw that news story. State of Oregon is banning cell phones in cars, and along with it, they're going to make any two-way radio device illegal in a car, which would include amateur radio. Man, that teed me off. I get to thinking, I've been an amateur radio operator since I was 14 years old. I was first exposed to it when I was but 12, and I was over at a friend's house, and his brother was calling CQ 6 meters. Never forgot that. It's still in my mind today. I remember the big pole on his house with the antenna on top of it, looking up at it. I had never even heard of ham radio. I could not believe that he would be able to transmit like that and talk to somebody. It led to me taking the red car down to a federal building in Los Angeles, where in front of the FCC I took a test with schematics and Morse code and formulas that were way beyond my understanding, but I made myself understand them. And then, of course, I turned 16, and I put a Mobil radio in my 1950 Plymouth, big antenna on the back, radio equipment, covered the entire front under the dash. But I talked with friends. Not only did I talk with friends over the years, but I managed to pick up a number of jobs in my career which had to do with that ham radio broadcasting. And some of those friends like you, David, I've talked with for well over 30 years. It's been the one stable thing in my life. And then I see and think about Oregon wanting to end this Mobil operation of ham radio. And I think about once, many years ago, there was a terrible earthquake in Alaska.
Earthquake.
I mean, the earth opened and houses fell in. And the communication system between the world and Alaska went away. There was but one amateur radio. 3 days I involved myself with handling traffic between here and Alaska. I remember some of those phone calls even to this moment. Mrs. Johnson, we just talked to your son Ralph. I'm a ham radio operator in Vancouver, and he is fine. You have nothing to worry about. Would you like me to pass a message from you to Ralph? And she cried. Ham radio. It's a backup form of communication. In the mountains just recently, there were no cell phone coverage there. None. And there was a car wreck. It was ham radio that reached 911. We're in a troubling time right now. This is not the time to do away with this backup communications. It is not a time to say two-way radio equipment doesn't belong in cars. It is the redundancy in communications that will save lives. It's already saved thousands of lives. And to do away with it makes no sense at all. The Oregon legislature does not know what they're doing. It will cost many lives when all communications fail, when OnStar doesn't work, when the cell phone tower is down in the dark. It will be the amateur radio operator even with a station at home, broken and tattered, that amateur radio operator will reach for a microphone in his car, and lives will be saved. I don't know, I don't want to get melodramatic, David, but it really teased me off. The lack of knowledge that these legislators in Oregon have. K7UIR, K6TPL.